What's up, you guys? Welcome to Investing with the Baldovinos. My name is Josh Baldovino, and if you're new to this channel, we're here documenting our real estate journey. And I also like to give some tools and tips to help you in your investing journey. Today, we're doing just that. We're talking about how to accurately calculate rent for a subject property, either that you may potentially already own or for one that you're looking to purchase. Of course, knowing how much it'll rent for is basically all the income you'll get as the landlord or owner of the property. And so that is an essential part of how to calculate cash flow in your analysis. For those who don't know how to calculate cash flow, how much can your property make? Simply, right? And there's a few things that you need. First is your income, right? Which is your rent, which is, I'd say for the most part, going to be. In addition to that, you may also charge back for utilities, depending if it's a multifamily, a duplex, however the utilities are metered and split up. Also, you may also collect a small pet fee. That's talking about your income. In terms of what's coming out, your expenses, right? Of course, you have your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance. You also have your management fees if you have a property manager, and then you're paying utilities on that. The last thing you're going to need is your saving. So I recommend that you also save for maintenance items. So requests like, hey, I have a leak or there's a plumbing issue. Also saving for capital expenditures. So those are your big ticket items like your roof and foundation, etc. And then you also have vacancy, just so you're not out of pocket whenever someone moves out and you're turning the unit over. So your income minus expenses minus saving equals your cash flow, right? But how can you accurately calculate how much you like to rent a unit for? For example, let's say you have a beautiful duplex like this, right? It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath duplex, let's just say in Columbus, and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about buying it or I have it. How much can I actually rent it for? Here are 4 foolproof tools that you can use to make sure that you are having an accurate rent estimator. I'm going to give you 4 different tools, but I would actually recommend using them all together or as many as possible. That way you have as much data points coming in to validate how much you are estimating rent to be. So let's jump in. Let's just say, for example, I have this duplex that's here. Let's just say it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath on each side. Again, this is just a sample property. You copy the address. The first tool I would recommend is Rentometer. There is a free version and a paid version for it. You're allowed about 5 free analysis per month. All you have to do is copy in your address that's there. You can either put how much you think rent will be, and it'll tell you, where you are in comparison. Or if you don't know, that's okay too. From here, you select my 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and then I press analyze. So from here, it'll give me what my average rent is, the median, the highs, and the 75 and 25 percentile, all of which is a really good baseline to assess. Hey, okay, here's a range now between $800 and almost $1,100, which is the $300 difference, which actually is a pretty big spread. So we want to continue to narrow this down, right? So this is the first tool, is Rentometer. The second tool is Bigger Pockets. In order to use Bigger Pockets and their rent estimator tool, you will need their pro membership, which I believe is $30 a month. If you're just starting out, the pro membership, I highly recommend. You get unlimited use of the calculators, you get the rent estimator, you get their insights to their paid articles, which they basically lay out exactly how much markets can generate, whether it be a long-term rental, short. There's just a treasure trove of information. Anyways, I digress. So once you get into Bigger Pockets, tools, rent estimator, you can either plug in the address if you know directly. Sometimes I like to go the zip code route too, just to see what an area is renting for. For example, this one is 43224. Let's search it, 2-1. And so this is giving me $1,000 a month with a strong and a high confidence interval. You come back over here, that median on this side was $950. So we have a $50 spread, which is not too bad, right? This one here, which is also nice, it gives you what comparable properties are currently listed right now. So there's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath for $1,050. Another one looks like in the same building, must be an apartment building, $1,100 for another one. There's 11 units at $675. Right, so you can go on. If you notice what I'm doing now is I'm looking at comparable properties, which I think is really important. You have to look at comparable properties. And the best way I like to do that is to just see what's available on market right now. So this third tool I like to use is actually seeing what listings are available for rent on Zillow. So for those who've used Zillow, of course, to see how much the property is worth, to look what's on market. You just toggle this from for sale to for rent. You type in the zip code 43224, and boom. You can now see everything that's available to rent in that area. Of course, you want to make sure that you try and get as close to your subject property as possible. To summarize, Rentometer told me it was $950 for a 2-bedroom. Bigger Pockets said 1,000. We have a single family house here for $1,150. Looks like a decent house. Clean. I mean, nothing is updated, but a clean, safe place to live for $1,150. Let's see what else is there. What constitutes $750? This looks like it's a duplex. So, but that's an old vanity. This is less updated than the other one. Yep. Floor just got repainted. Everything's got repainted and kind of just threw it back on the market, I guess. Old cabinets, laminate countertops, black appliances, small kitchen. Oh, and that's what $750 is. What else do we have here? Let's see. Ooh, this one looks like an updated house. So, 2-1, 800 square feet, for rent. Let's take a look. This seems like this was an updated Burr property. Some big tile, new cabinets, new appliances, stainless steel with a dishwasher. Hey, laminate countertop still. An updated bath, small bath, but updated. And they are asking $1,300 for this. Another fun thing that I like to do on Zillow is what's nice is that it tells you how many days it's been listed and how many contacts it has too. So this has been out for a little over 2 weeks and has 94 contacts, but obviously has not gotten rented in 2 weeks. Let's see some of these other ones. This has been listed for 5 days and 11 contacts. So a little bit less. Anyways, I like that function because you can see how many people are inquiring about the property, how long it's taking someone to lease it out. Obviously, that one for $1,300, if it's been up there for 2 weeks and has that many contacts, but it's still up, maybe the market might think that it's a little bit high. And I've had that on some of my properties too. The last and the final way that I would recommend to figure out how much you can rent this property for is just ask your property manager. It's super important to have some kind of boots on the ground who knows the market well, especially if you're not going to manage it yourself and you're hiring a property manager. Ask them. I always ask my property manager before I even make an offer on the property, hey, how much do you think this can rent out for? That way I can run my numbers before I even make my offer. So that way I know what offer I need to make to hit the cash flow number that my goal is. Ask them. They know way better than you. They're the ones talking to potential tenants all day, to current tenants, and knowing what the market is actually demanding. So they're an awesome resource that I recommend. So those are the 4 different ways that I use all the time for every single deal to make sure that I know how much a potential property can rent for. So first, using Rentometer and Bigger Pockets to get a ballpark of a median of what the rents are. Then I like to dig into the market myself to figure out, hey, what level of finishes do I need? Am I expecting on my Burr property, on my rehab, or on the unit that I'm buying that's maybe rent ready? And how much can I expect to charge? And then, of course, asking your local expert, asking whoever is going to be leasing out that property, hey, what is realistic here? Last thing, if you are going Section 8, you can go on to your county or city's Section 8 department, and they'll tell you on how many bedrooms and baths, how much you'll actually get from that. So that's another video. But those are the 4 different ways that I use all together every single time I'm analyzing a deal. And my last bonus tip, right, why this is important, going back to our cash flow, is 1, you want to see how much it's going to make. 2, you want to understand what that rent to price ratio is, right? So you need to know, hey, am I getting a decent deal on this? Meaning, in order to figure out what your rent to price ratio is and what that threshold is, you divide how much you are going to potentially estimate in rent by how much you're going to buy the property for. So for example, Say I'm going to rent it $4,000 and I'm going to buy it for $100,000. My rent to price ratio is then 1%. Right? Like, okay, well, what does 1% mean? Right? I don't know. Look at these beautiful colors, right? Now, this is very market specific, but this is what I use for Columbus for my long-term investments, my buy and holds. So, first off, if it's at the 1%, there's going to be some cash flow there. Now, that cash flow is going to vary depending on how much you want to save for your maintenance, capex, etc., how much your expenses are with your property manager. But for the most part, a 1%, depending on your market, will cash flow, right? Let's start from the beginning. So if it's under 0.75, again, this is very market specific. It may be very hard to find cash flow. At this, medium 0.75 to 1, there's a chance. And I have bought in things that are like at a 0.82 or something like that. And there still is cash flow there. A lot of the bigger pockets articles and some of the podcasts will say 2%. That was a few years ago. Things have now obviously inflated since then. These are unicorns. Although, depending on the market that you're buying and the asset that you're buying, if you're buying a fourplex, there could be a really good chance that you can find 2% still. So it just all depends on what type of asset you're buying and where you're buying it at. But I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, please give this a like. It did take me a while to make all these slides, to edit this all down. And if you like content like this, consider subscribing. And of course, if you think this video would help someone, please share it with someone that you think would find value. Coming up, this whole series that I'm going to make is all about how to actually find rent to price ratio automatically, how to pull listings from Zillow that are live and be able to figure out what is rent to price ratio without you actually having to go to say every single listing. Let's just say what's for sale in this area and then say, hey, okay, this is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Let me divide, $1,000 by 169 every single time, which I'm sure you do. If you take your phone out and you're like, oh man, okay, let's just try it. How long will that take me? $1,000. I mean, if I am good at moving decimal points, which I'm not, right? Times 100, which means I'm at a 0.58. And if you remember from my handy dandy chart, screenshot this, save it. Oh man, take a picture, right? Under 0.75, there's little chance. So very little chance I think this will cash flow. Although this is a nicer unit. Maybe it'll rent for $1,200, $1,300. Who knows? And at $1,300, what are we at? Let's just play a game. 169,900 times 100. Look at that. You are now at 0.76. So we've gotten closer, right? We've now went from the red to the yellow. Maybe you can run the numbers. Or, better yet, maybe you can get the property for cheaper so that you can continue to move up this chart, right? But if you don't want to look and calculate them manually every single time, I did make a spreadsheet that will do it yourself. Check this out. Boom. Look at that. Rent to price ratio, 1.46, 2.87. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to build this so that you can do it yourself. I'll link it down below if you guys are watching this in the future. But thank you guys so much. Let me know what questions you have, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.